Yeah, so we got 4 sows gave birth. We got 35 piglets all up. Some of them it was their first litter, some of them it was their second, so happy with the outcome of all the pigs that we got. Sometimes between piglets, so say they can have up to 14 piglets, and there can sometimes be quite a big gap, up to half an hour between the pigs as they come out. So you do have to, if you are having to watch a sow give birth, if she could have any difficulties, it take a fair bit of time watching them and just keep them calm. Piglet will come out and they're pretty much immediately straight to the nipple. There's a scent component, they can smell it out as well as instinct. Just to hunt for that food, so they'll run up and find a nipple pretty quickly. And yeah, it's pretty amazing to watch something come out and then immediately be walking and finding a nipple and start drinking. You can sometimes have to pull piglets, not often. Usually they do a pretty good job of it themselves. No, we have bottle-fed runts in the past, just a lot of labor going into it. Usually they all kind of pull through as long as there's enough nipples for everybody to get a feed, then they'll be right. They do need to keep quite warm. The sows do a pretty good job of that. If they usually build a little nest, which is pretty cool. They'll take a lot of weeds and rubble and different stuff, and they'll make a little space for those piglets to lay, and they insulate themselves by how many there are in the mum right there. So they do a pretty good job of it. Sometimes we'll just assist by having a kind of above shelter. The winter time isn't too bad because we don't get too cold the temperatures here, so they do pretty well. Yeah, ratio stillbirths generally kind of 5 to 10% you can expect, but we've kind of had 100% piglet ratio out of a lot of our sows, which we've been really happy about. Gestation for a sow is 3 months, 3 weeks and 3 days, so easy number to remember. Then after that they can cycle back in about a month, so you can have quite a bit of piglets coming through quite quickly, so you do have to kind of manage when your boar is in, knowing when you're going to have piglets. Yeah, but you can get quite a big growth in your pig population within a year. Low stress environment is key, so not getting up in their grill if you don't need to. If they don't need any help, just leaving them to it, making sure they're out of the sun and they're comfortable. And if they have water and food if they want it, they usually don't want it when they're giving birth, but afterwards they'll want it. As sows get more and more litters and more experience having piglets, I find they do a better job at not squishing any of them. Sometimes first-time mums aren't as aware of where their body is when there's piglets around. The shelters that we have little spaces for the piglets to hide, so that does help them kind of move away and not be squished by the mum. But it yeah, just is a part of when there's that many little babies running around on a really big sow. And yeah, it's just all about keeping the sows happy and healthy and dry. We've had a bit of wet weather, so just having shelter for the sows and just having fresh pasture for them to be on where it's nice and clean, not too muddy, and just keeping food and water up to them.